Dímelo, mi gente. What's going on, man? I hope y'all doing good. Sorry for the delay. We just had a little powwow backstage, and we lost track of time. But anyway, man, we got some guests coming up. Hopefully a little later today. But we're gonna be talking about, of course, the Miami Dolphins, and we're gonna be talking about the Tua holdout and the whole who's the guy they want? TV wants to draft.
Penix?
Yeah, Tua 2.0. Yeah, we'll
Tua
talk all about
2.0?
all
I know,
that
right?
shit,
He's
man.
left-handed, it's like
Mhm. So we'll talk about that, in about 2 minutes. Stick around.
New seasons, new gear. Show the world what it means to be a fan in 100% authentic gear. Fanatics. Officially licensed everything.
Get ready to dive into a new world of online shopping with the Fins Tailgate. Whether you're a die-hard sports fan or just looking for the latest fashion trends, we've got you covered. With a wide variety of products from your favorite sports teams to stylish accessories and home decor, we're your one-stop shop for all things tailgate. Our easy-to-use website and hassle-free checkout process make shopping with us a breeze. Plus, with frequent sales and discounts, you won't want to shop anywhere else. So come on in and join the party at the Fins Tailgate, your new go-to destination for all things tailgate.
Ooh.
yeah, boy.
Yo. And check this out. This Saturday at 12 o'clock,
Uh-oh.
come and check out the W Energy WrestleMania preview with my man Dolphins Winters.
I gotta see it again, Shake. Just
That's for our money.
you gotta put the thumb. I mean,
That's
what an
for
amazing
our
thumbnail.
Yeah,
And Shake, what great
Patriots
work
fan,
you've
man.
done with your body, buddy. I mean, it's been something to behold. That is not a doctored picture. Shake used to be the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. So
Yeah.
just so you guys know.
And this Saturday, Saturday at noon, we finna get it started, man, at 12 o'clock. So come and join us. So how y'all guys doing, man?
Doing good, Shake.
Pretty good,
So
man.
so one of the
Intro
things I want to
music
talk
put
about
me
is
in a good mood.
they're
Yeah,
talking
the intro music got me hyped. No lie. I was back here dancing. I heard color. Ha ha!
Arriba!
I love that shit. Yeah, I hear that one guy in the background every once in a while. Hey!
Listen, I've been to a couple of quinceañeras, so like every time that like that fucking whatever the hell it's called, I got to get them hips moving. You know what I'm saying?
You know, what's funny is remember that episode of Dave Chappelle show? He goes, And I found out the Spanish, like with Spanish people, like trumpet music with gibberish in the background.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But so all this talks about Tua's contract. Now, when the off seasons first started, after the everybody was saying that one of the reasons why Tua should get extended was to free up cap space so they can get into the green. They're in not only are they in the green, but they're going to get into more green once Xavier and Howard, some of the post June money kicks in. So technically, there's no real reason to extend them. So if they let's say they
Shake, just
don't
to be
extend them,
just to put a digit on it, it's gonna be $26.25 million to the good for the Dolphins after June 1st.
So with that being said, if they don't extend him and they just make him pay on his 5th-year option and he holds out, what is that? Who do you think has, in you guys' opinion, who do you think has the leverage?
The Dolphins. The Dolphins have all the leverage.
Definitely.
My fault. 23.3 million to the good. My fault. 23.3 million to the good.
Yeah, the Dolphins, in my opinion, will have all the leverage. And if the kid is playing hardball and he's, wants to kind of reset the market or be top 3 or whatever the number is, he's just not worth that number that he's thinking. It is what it is. I'm a big Tua fan, right? But I'm not one of these guys that's just going to play the role of just a nonsense and Tua can do no wrong and he's already made, he's this, he's that. No, he's not. There is a number attached to Tua Tagovailoa. Do I believe he's earned a number? Yes, but not the number from what everybody's been saying, and proof is in the pudding. There's no deal yet. It seems like he's playing hardball, and at that number that he's looking for, I don't believe he's worth that. So, in my opinion,
to your point, Lewis,
the Dolphins have the leverage.
And to follow that up, I fall down on the side that yes, he does. He has earned a contract. He has earned his money, and that's precisely what we signed him for. It's about where you and I differ, but other than that, I can't disagree with the thing you said. The bottom line is if he wants to reset the market and wants that kind of money for what he's put down, then I know a big hole in Arizona that can fit all that money.
Look, Tua's gonna be making the most money this coming year of his career, right? In his 5th-year option. I think it's at 23 mil, somewhere right around there.
Technically, we gave him 38 mil bonus in his rookie year, so not really.
Yes and no. Like the guarantees on the 5th year, it's a solid 20-something million. So it's going to be good money, right? And at most per year. Do I think his play would indicate that maybe the Dolphins are getting a deal? If he were to play on his 5th year, how he played last year, via the same, yeah, but that's being a shrewd businessman, right? You always want to pay something and get more out of what you paid for. That's how you, especially in this game, with sports and how you have to manipulate the cap.
Yeah. Let me be clear. Do I think he's wrong for trying and for carrying himself that way? No, because if I had an army of sycophants out there that have convinced the rest of the world that I'm Dan Marino, I'd be playing hardball too. That doesn't mean that I'd be right.
Not only that, but dude, think of they're throwing around numbers like 55 million a year, and not that's. And here's the thing, right? When they talk about these numbers that to me are so much higher than I kind of anticipated. I thought we were at the end of last season. People were like, "Oh, what is Herbert getting? What is this?" And guarantees it could, Tua's around 48 million, a year. That's what people are. Now they're talking 50+ million, and it's odd to me because I always hear this same argument, right? It's like, well, you sign him now, so then you're not 2 years down the line. It's not what those contracts are. Or next year, if you don't sign him for 55 now, then next year you're gonna have to sign him for 60. It's like, I get that there's inflation, I get all that, but I made this point, and I'm gonna continue making it. Dolphins are gonna tread lightly on this one way or another, because to me, there's only one terrible outcome, and that's if you pay him and it doesn't work out and you know it, and you got 2 or 3, 4 more years left on his contract. You know what I'm saying? That is the situation that is a absolute lose to this organization. Now, there is something very interesting that came out today in an article on from Barry Jackson at the Miami Herald, and it's something that's super interesting about what the Dolphins have done via cap and signing all these free agents and all this stuff, and how there's a lot of language in a lot of their contracts for voidable years. So I went ahead and looked up, over the cap and stuff like that. And, 2024 Dolphins have all their players under contract. When you look at 2025, there is no guaranteed contract on this football team outside of Aaron Brewer and Jordan Brooks in guaranteed money for next season. And that includes Tyreek Hill. Now there's dead cap, of course, in which case that dead cap, because if you were to cut them, Tyreek Hill's due $34 million next year. That's his cap number, right? Well, if you cut him in dead cap money, you're gonna take $22 million and you'll get 11 back in savings. If you do a post June cut, it's reversed. Okay, it's only 11 million, you get 22 back. So there's a possibility that forces the athlete to come back to the table and negotiate with the football team, right? Because all of these guys don't have. I mean, Durham Smythe, Alec Ingle, Jason Sanders, Zach Sealer, Austin Jackson, Jalen Ramsey, Teron Armstead, Tyreek, Bradley Chubb. Now, Tua's not on this list because we don't have him under contract for that. But all of these players, even the new guys, Kendall Fuller, Jonnu Smith, all of these guys, nobody has any guaranteed money in 2025. Nobody. Only 2 guys. And that's Jordy Brooks, $6.5 million, and Aaron Brewer, the center, $3.5 million. Now, these new guys that have been signed, right, they've had language in which they're signing. Look at like the Shaq Barrett contract. It's like a 4-year deal. That's really only a 1-year guaranteed deal for X amount of money. But they've put 3 years of voidable contracts on that. So the $8.9 million they're going to give him up front this year is only going to count 2.3 against the cap. And now those 3 voided years can be spread out. Now, there is contract. He could be there, but he has 0 guarantees other than the money he's already put in his coffers. The Dolphins have done this because that's what you need to do to manipulate the cap. But it also, to me, shows that not that they would blow up this football team at the end of this season, but don't tell me that they can't, right? Don't tell me that they can't make wholesale changes across the board all over the place. Yes, there's dead cap to carry. Yes, there's players that you'll probably keep because their money that you're spending is worth to keep them rather than what you would get back to lose them, right? But it's very interesting. When I was reading this article and seeing all this stuff, and I started looking at over the cap, the Dolphins have the ability to pivot. Say this season rides out the 5th-year option with Tua, right? And it's an epic failure in the sense that the Dolphins win 9 games, don't go to the playoffs. Tua went out with injury at some point earlier in the season, never was the same in the rest, and the team kind of just falls apart. I mean, damn, dude, no different than if they could pivot off the coaching staff, for crying out loud, right? If it was that bad, if it's a 7-win epic failure with all this hype, they could pivot off it all. I'm not saying they will or would. It's just very interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah,
And by the
I
way,
mean,
real quick, Lewis. By the
yeah,
way,
go ahead,
I got to
sir.
find the article, but I was reading somewhere that they were saying that they're looking to shop your boy Holland. He's the only he's a bargaining chip for the off season. So
I don't know. I got to see that article if you can find it. I would love to to kind of dig into that. But
I know a
to
big volcano in Washington that can keep all his money too.
Pretty much. But to Cap's point, yeah, bro, I think Cap, you're spot on. I think when we lost Christian Wilkins and Robert Hunt this year, everybody was like, "Oh my God, that was a drastic change." Bro, everything you laid out, Cap, you're spot on, bro. I think what Miami is doing, they're probably again trying to go in all in this year, or they're going to see if it works. But there could be a scenario, Cap, I think you just laid it out, that if this is a failed season, a 7-win, a 9 season,
They
even
could
a
pivot.
playoff berth with a wild card exit, right? I think this team could look totally different next year. To your point, like I don't think that's a reach by saying Tyreek Hill could be possibly a post June 1st cut. Jalen Ramsey, if there's no guaranteed money on that contract, everything you're saying, yeah, I think this team, coaches as well, maybe even the general manager. I know that would bring smiles to a lot of people's faces. I think the whole organization could have a
Oh, you mean the
facelift
vice
if this.
president and wait?
I mean, yeah, well, to your point, he would probably fall up, but
Yeah, that guy would be GM to czar.
yeah, but I think there would be wholesale changes throughout the organization, not only on the field, but inside the actual building to front office, for sure. Crazy.
Interesting. As baseball season is firing up, far be it for me to find a baseball analogy, but a very similar thing when we talk about falling up for Chris Greer. It's not out of the realm of possibility. If the guy is very liked in the organization, he makes, if he's seen to make the Dolphins good money and do things right, he could be liked. And that's the thing. It's like somebody could say, hey, your particular skill set is this. It's like just like finding the best attributes of a player, you know what I mean? Or making that player the best version of themselves. Chris Greer could be brilliant in this, that, and the other, X, Y, and Z. And we're just not satisfied with what he's doing with player personnel. So, when it comes to the analogy, a guy like John Mozeliak with the Cardinals, brilliant guy. I mean, the guy knows baseball. He's, grew up baseball. Everybody respects him, but he wouldn't come off of Mike Matheny and he wouldn't do these certain things. So they ended up making him, like, moving him up a spot. And he's the guy that oversees the manager now, the general manager now. You know what I mean? So he's still involved, but he's not right there to make those decisions that he just couldn't make or refused or whatever else. But the guy is still a good reason why the Cardinals are a successful organization. So he just fell upward in that case, and they got a guy in there that took his job that he works with closely every day. I can see a situation just like that for Chris Greer.
Yeah, also, we have to remember Chris Greer's got clout now. Now he ain't just a general manager who climbed his way through the ranks of the Dolphins and everyone's watching his moves. He's got a lot of hits. He's got misses, but taking the team from what it was to what it is, he could pretty much put that on his resume. But also, he's on the competition committee. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got NFL recognition all up in this beat. Yeah, so
and everybody knows I crap on his father, and this and that and the other, or the nepotism involved. But there again, there's a guy who hasn't really been that successful, Bobby Greer, in what his job has been in the 3 organizations he's been with. Yet he can still claim he scouted Tom Brady. He scouted J.J. Watt. He's got those on his resume. So
he's got plenty of things, a paper trail for that for sure.
Well,
but
just like Marv Albert, real quick, Marv Albert, the guy who's in charge of our college perk, whatever, has Patrick Mahomes on his resume.
Right.
Well, can I ask a question to everybody on the panel? It's just not to one specific person, but how much stock, like, does Chris Greer make all the decisions in Miami? Are we sold that it's 100% Chris Greer makes every decision?
Chris Greer's a delegator. I don't think Chris Greer makes very many decisions, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think Stephen Ross is much the stay away owner that people make him out to be.
Well, not only Stephen Ross though. Like how much
Garfinkel.
He is the
Garfinkel,
most in the
right?
league.
Like the because again, I've heard rumblings, right? And I just want to gauge your guys' thoughts on it. Like we always say, well, Chris Greer did this and Chris Greer does that, but could there be a scenario, or do you guys see a scenario where maybe Tom Garfield, Tom Garfield, a guy that is Stephen Ross's friend, but I wouldn't call him a football guy, right? But it
No,
just
he's
seems like
businessman.
he's a businessman, Cap, right? So, do you think that maybe some of the decisions we see that a lot of us be like scratching our heads, like, damn, man, what is Chris Greer thinking here? What are the Dolphins thinking here? Could it be like not football guys that are making football decisions that, again, we always say how Chris Greer is going to fall up because he's a made man with Stephen Ross and stuff. But Tom Garfinkel, there's a lot of guys, if you look at it, that are kind of in that same position. I guess my question is Tom
you think
Garfinkel and the guys are making decisions that
I'll answer
football
that question
decisions?
with another
Absolutely.
question, Lewis. Do you think that the people that are charged with hiring engineers to service our jumbo jets, do you think that those are airplane people anymore?
I got a better analogy,
it's
Killer,
all
if I
over the
may.
country. It's in every facet of our lives now, bro, that people are working in positions that they're not fit for, dude.
All right. I want to bring up two things: Skylar Thompson and Easy E. When they were drafted, the one thing that stood out was the fact that when Easy E was drafted, he was a Texas Tech guy, and they all said that the wide receivers coach, who's escaping me right now,
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker had big input on that. And with Skylar Thompson, they said Darren Bevel had big input on that as well. So it's like, and the reason Brian Flores got fired was because there was no collaborative. So at the end of the day, I'm thinking, I know Chris Greer has final say, but I think this is more of a collaborative.
If I may, Shake, because you're getting right on it. I think it's more of like a political type thing, right?
Mhm.
I think it's more like they've got a politics type of thing going on. Everyone's all working to this goal. He might, Chris Greer might be Speaker of the House, but it's all this is the Congress that makes all the bills and decisions.
Right,
That's what I think is happening.
It's a council,
about it,
bro.
right?
Short answer: I don't
Well,
think
well,
we have enough football guys.
Well, that's where I'm getting at, Crypto. I don't think we have enough football guys. But let's go down and let's stay on the quarterback, right? So Brian Flores wanted Jordan Love, supposedly, right? Chris Greer was Tua. Owner Stephen Ross was Lamar Jackson. Dan Marino was supposedly Justin Herbert. It's like
Yeah, all I wanted somebody different, right? Exactly.
there's no
That's a good point.
There's no continuity, right? And that's just one position. It just seems like there's 90 people in the front office and there's 88 different opinions. There might be one or two
And
guys
as far
that are
as
on the
collaboration
Right.
goes, it seems like Chris Greer
Yeah.
is the only one that gets the decision.
And
It don't
Yeah,
make
he makes
sense
the
to me.
final choice. Yes.
Being
So
that
we
it's Easter
have
He
the
egg,
same
vetoes
problem.
everybody out.
We have the same problem in the office that we have on the field when shit gets tough. We don't have real leadership. And I said this a couple episodes
That's what I'm
back.
trying to get to, Cap. Yep.
Lou, I said this a couple episodes
Leadership
back
is
about the
toxic, bro.
organization and how we don't have leadership. It's how the fans it reverberates all the way down
Leadership is
to
a
the fan.
microaggression,
Listen,
Cap.
back when I was coming up as a younger fan, getting more involved and stuff, you went to everybody shit on the team if they did bad, and everybody praised them when they did good, and then everybody in between that had opinions. Again, in an off season, we're hopeful, but in an off season that we didn't win a Super Bowl, which is every year, we're not happy about what happened. We're pissed, but now you can't even be pissed, right? You can't even be that way. There's too much.
No, again, leadership is a microaggression, bro.
There
That's
is-
what it's considered.
That's, you know what, Color? You're kind of onto something, and I don't fucking like it. I don't like it. I don't like all the bullshit because you know what usually happens in a situation like this, and I don't want to bring up the boogeyman Brian Flores' name, but when you don't have leadership, leaders go, well, fuck, I better lead this, bitch. There ain't no leaders. Well,
Right.
if you get out in front as a leader, everyone, they turn on you because you're the first person to get your head chopped off. Now we can say whatever we
I'm gonna
want.
call it what it is, dude. Okay,
Go ahead, Color.
there is no leadership in the building because
Nobody wants to be accountable.
there is nobody in the building that believes in hierarchies. Our building is infected with a bunch of people that want to eliminate every hierarchy out of our social life because they're a bunch of political activists. That is what's
Damn.
going on in our
Cook, Color.
organization.
Cook.
Period. End of
Cook, Color,
story.
cook.
Okay, there is no meritocracy. There is no leadership because there is no hierarchy. Hierarchies are I'm not gonna
Ironically,
Hey, Color, I gotta show you. I
if
gotta
we
give you
were
this
ran
one.
like the Cowboys, we would probably be without the Cowboy
You
success.
got this one, Color. Look.
If we from
Well,
organization.
remember this, Crypto. That hierarchy worked for a time. It wasn't until the owner lost touch with the game and got old. Let's call it for what it is. But that hierarchy got a couple of fucking Super Bowls. That hierarchy got owned the '90s there for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And that's essentially, if you look at every team, not every, but most teams that are successful, it's either for a season, 2 seasons, or like the Patriots or the Dallas Cowboys. There is always a hierarchy, and everyone follows suit. There is a leader to the battlefield who's the general, and the rest are fucking good soldiers. Yeah, these might be fighter jets. Yeah, these might be my tanks, but they're all doing what the fucking general says, and it works. And that's the difference. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
And yes, when everybody goes home and takes their pants off, the general is equal to everybody else.
Yeah, everybody's
too.
fucking equal,
Okay.
but this ain't about equality, Color. This is simply put that there's a this is competition. You can't be all equal bullshit and fucking hands around the world when it's a
Otherwise,
fucking
nothing gets
battle,
done.
goddammit.
Otherwise,
The
nothing
war has
gets
happened.
done.
This ain't peace, it's war.
Otherwise, nothing gets done because if you have to wait for consensus for every decision you make because you're afraid that one guy is going to stand out above everybody else, nothing is going to get done. You all are going to be
the
equal
precedent
in poverty. You're going to be equal in destruction.
The precedent it will always set that in this type of atmosphere is that those who do really good are praised. Those who don't do anything are praised. So why work harder than is necessary?
Exactly.
It'll always take the higher up and bring it low, and take the lower because it's forcing the lower up to make it medium. And
it's the same argument against collectivism. What the hell?
Well, in that sense, at the beginning, it needs to be a collaborative effort.
Yeah, but the point
It's
is
built on
if I'm going to
quicksand.
if I've got a safety net that makes sure that you and I both have the same end outcome, then what the hell am I incentivized to do anything with myself?
Can you
Well, that point
highlight?
Lewis made about the quarterbacks, everybody differentiating on the quarterback, that needed to be on day one a consensus there, or else this house was built on quicksand.
Well, it could be, but can someone highlight, please, S. Harris's last comment about Lynch, S. Harris, and Lynch's collaborations in San Francisco? Can you highlight that comment if you see it?
Sure.
Right here. So I tend to agree with this, but this is I think what we're all talking about, right? Because his earlier comment was, why are we trying to create problems and narratives? And one thing, let's take the San Francisco 49ers. They paid Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, when they paid him, of course, it wasn't what the money in the quarterback market was making now, but they paid him a good deal, $28-30 million, somewhere around there. That's what he was making. They traded
a 45-16 record, by the way, Lewis. Go ahead.
Absolutely. But then they turn around, they trade 3 first-round picks to go get Trey Lance, right? Then a year later, they draft Brock Purdy, right? The point is, if any other team paid a quarterback, and then they traded 3 first-round picks, and then the next round they traded another quarterback, we would all say, you know what, this team don't know what they're doing, and we would come out here and say this team has just screwed themselves for the next 10 to 15 years, right? But since
they were in the Super Bowl, they were in the Super Bowl and been in the NFC Championship game like every fucking other year.
And you know why that is, Cap? Because
they got a real fucking leader over there.
There's collaborations, to S. Harris's point. There's collaborations, but guess what? They're all on the same page collaborating. The collaboration that the Miami Dolphins have, everybody has input, but the input is different. So you can never get nowhere. One guy's pulling from the left, the next person's pulling from the right, someone's pulling from the back, then you get someone tugging from the front.
And since
There's no
everybody's equal, it goes
consistency.
nowhere.
That's called
That's
anarchy.
why we go nowhere. You see how the 49ers can look
It's
at
like
all the
two
shit
guys
the
with the same
49ers just
strength
did.
pulling on a tug rope line. I mean,
Absolutely. Look at all the shit the 49ers
in other words,
just
you're
went
saying
through.
we got 3 wise men following 3 different stars?
Pretty much.
Yes,
again,
basically.
pretty much. That's what we're saying. Like,
Yes.
it's, you know, a team, bro, what I just highlighted with the 49ers, that would have devastated any other team in this league. These guys are still representing the NFC in Super Bowls. Like, the collaboration is on point over there, and I just don't think we have that in Miami. I think we have a bunch of guys that got their hands in the cookie jar, and what one brings out a chocolate chip, the next one has a peanut fucking cupcake.
Yep.
And it's a whole bunch of different shit, bro.
Yep. And you know what? All I know is I got a
bringing the
belly
wrong
ache from
things to
eating
the
all that
kitchen.
shit. I got a belly ache from all the shit. God damn it. Listen, so here's the thing too, though, right? This is why I'm not mad right now, though, because if you look at the money and look at guarantees, it's almost as if they kind of are aware of their indecisions, right? Or at least somebody's aware. Somebody's in charge over there. You know, whoever it is, we don't know. It certainly is never the guy who gets his head chopped off. That is not the guy in charge, because the guy in charge doesn't get their head chopped off. There's always that hidden agenda, hidden hand in that way. My point is that wisely,
Unless you're Maria Antoinette.
Okay, touche. Wisely, they have another road to take, because here's the deal. In this business, in this industry, for those who go all in on something when they're not 100% sure, because if you're 100% sure and you're good at your job, typically you're right. If you're 100% sure and wrong and you're fucking terrible at your job, you should get fired anyhow. It seems to me that they haven't been sure about their draft pick of Tua for a long time. Since the jump, they haven't been sure about their how they looked when they saw him coming out into the draft. They weren't sure about the hip. They tried to go get Burrow, and every season since, outside of this season, off season, excuse me, they have looked to upgrade or have a potential different situation. Right, that has been clear.
Yeah, Mr. Polk, you could also say too many terrible teams and not enough Chiefs in the league.
Hit the like button, everybody. If you haven't hit the like button, get them likes up, please. I just wonder that
not enough Chiefs.
I agree that there's a lack of leadership and a lack of vision in being able to execute the right way. But I will say this about Chris Greer, that I believe and have believed for a long time. He's very clever. And whether that's working out for us or not is debatable, right? It has in some instances, but it hasn't in other. I will say this, by appearances. Now, if they sign Tua to a multi-year deal, that'll be the first move in the entirety of Chris Greer's tenure as a general manager of this team that he has committed to a one-way road. Every other thing, whether it's the draft, whether it's a free agent signing someone to a contract, or what the team will be from this year to what it'll be in the year and a half, 2 years later, he's always had another road to take.
Thank you.
If he signs Tua to this multi-year deal, this will be the first thing that, if it works, great. It's his shining example in excellence, and thank God it does. If it doesn't, it'll be the one thing that destroys his career.
So let's talk about money in that regard, Cat, because Chris Greer, when it comes to what he's done, look, it brings up a logical question that I feel compelled to ask. We had like 3 or 4 different superstar, what people would say elite quarterbacks, come across our dashboard, across Chris Greer's dashboard. They all were going to command a certain amount of money. Lamar got 176 million or whatever it was. And we said no to that. We couldn't give $1 more. Right? And everybody was like, oh, Chris Greer's going to do this. Chris Greer's going to do that. Chris Greer's known for this. Chris Greer's not known for that. Is he still known and not known for those certain things? Because if he had the likes of Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson come across his dashboard and he wasn't willing to give them the money that we're talking about giving Tua now, what makes anybody think he's going to give that to a guy that's unproven? If the biggest moves, the only two big moves Chris Greer has made where we were like, one of them we didn't even know it was out of left field. We never expected it. It was not an overpayment, but a splash, Tyreek Hill, and then Jalen Ramsey. But other than that, every one of these names, big names, come across the screen, including our own Christian Wilkins, Robert Hunt, these people that are like, okay, how much are they going to command? Well, Christian Wilkins went and got $28 million right per year, and we were never going to do that. But there were people that were like, Chris Greer is seriously going to sign Christian Wilkins no matter what. Just like Chris Greer is going to get Deshaun Watson. Why would you not? Oh, because he didn't want to. He had a number. He said to Deshaun Watson's camp or Lamar Jackson's camp, this is how much I'm willing to pay for you. And they said that's not enough. So why would he all of a sudden now say, you know what? I wasn't willing to give it to those superstars, but I'm willing to give it to this guy who claims to be a superstar.
Excellent point. Honestly, that is one angle of which I hadn't thought about. You're right, Color, because if
there's a move we're not even seeing yet. Just like Shake opened the show with, we were freaking in the negative. We were going to have to sign to it to get out of the negative. Now, here we are in the positive. What incentive do we have to give Tua the kind of money that we were not even willing to give Lamar Jackson?
Well, no, well. See, I would just disagree slightly, though. I don't think it was the money. I think
draft capital.
I don't even think it was a draft capital for me.
Whatever
I just think
it is, if it's draft capital, we lost.
No, it was only two first-round picks.
No, it has nothing to do with money or capital. I think the Baltimore Ravens, when they threw that tag on them, yeah, you could have got the 2 first-round picks. But regardless of the fact, Baltimore would have had a chance to match that offer. And I think what Baltimore did there was, hey, you might want a number. We have a number. Go out. We're going to put this tag on you. And if a team is willing to just way overpay for you, then, hey, we won't match it. But I think they were just playing the league versus Lamar.
Well, yeah, true. But we were told Lamar wants to come home and this and that and the other.
And that's fine. I just don't. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think Baltimore was going to let Lamar out. So
okay,
that would take Lamar.
Fair enough. Fair enough on Lemar. The overarching point or question I'm asking, and this is to Andrevius. Andrevius seems is checking me tonight. He just
he's coming for your neck. But he does make a good point because Deshaun Watson they were going to pay.
I love Andrevius to death.
But we were.
And by the way,
we had already agreed to terms. We was only 4 signatures away. Let's not forget that timeline.
By the way, real quick, Andrevius, check your Twitter DM, man. I sent you a message.
So he says this whole take was dishonest, in my opinion.
Yeah, we already agreed to terms with Deshaun.
We was going to pay Deshaun Watson. Right, but it wasn't a take, Andrevius. It was a question. Why do people think Chris Greer is going to make this big splash on Tua when he has proven not to be the kind of guy that lets the athlete dictate his terms is what I was asking.
I mean, you could even use Christian Wilkins in this instance, Color. They had a number in mind 2 years ago and has stuck to it, right? They were trying to sign him before the 5th year and the 5th year option. They had a number. 5th year came and went. The number was probably moved in one way or the other. Doesn't matter because he was going to go get the bigger number. Now, is that here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. So say to us,
Cap, one of the straight answers that fucking McDaniels finally fucking gave was the fact that he says, "Hey, we gave Christian Wilkins an offer that we thought was fair value." He even said it out of his own mouth.
Well, yeah, they thought it was fair value. And here's the thing, right? Hold on,
the
real
fair
quick.
value
Let me
was like
land.
20
Let me land
million.
on this.
Go ahead, go.
If Tua in his representation believes he's a $55 million a year quarterback, then why is that going to change over one season, right? Why is it going to change? What's
bro?
that? Why is it going to change over one season? If anything, it would be more.
He's proven to be a shrewd negotiator. Why is he going to all of us? Why do people think he's going to change his stripes all of a sudden?
But to further illustrate my point, Chris Greer is willing to say, "Here's what I think it's worth," and write it out, and is willing to be wrong, a la Christian Wilkins, a la Robert Hunt.
A la Lamar Jackson. Let's be real.
But was he again?
Oh, he was right on Mike Gesicki.
I won't say Lamar Jackson, but was he not right with Christian Wilkins or Robert Hunt?
He was right to pay them what we wanted to keep them, and they were right because they got way more than they would have signed for the Dolphins for. My point, hold on. My point is that what's Tua and his representation have to hold out for if there was a holdout? What's Tua and his representation have to worry about? Because if Chris Greer makes the mistake by not getting the deal done, and lets Tua enter a free agency type thing where they have to field offers and compete with anyone, apparently they believe that there's a litany of teams that would jump aboard to sign Tua for $50+ million a year, right? That has to be the consensus.
Well, the consensus for them is that that a sucker is born every day.
Well, I get you, a sucker's born every day, right? But like, let's open this up. If Tua was a free agent next year, now I know this is a little bit different because there's going to be 5 teams that wouldn't do this move coming up that need quarterbacks right now. But how many teams outside of the Miami Dolphins would be bidding on Tua Tagovailoa's services in 2025 as a free agent?
Well, it would depend on what he does this year in 2024.
This year,
but
right? And what's his status?
What he would do.
But isn't that precisely where we were at last year, Lewis?
Absolutely. But this is the scenario I would say, Cap. Right? This is how you could put that theory really to the test and test some of the people out, not only in our fan base, but other teams around the league. You throw the same tag that they threw on Lamar Jackson on Tua. And do you think, I'll pose the same question Cap did with the caveat. Do you think there's a team next year in 2025 that will give Miami 2 first-round picks, knowing giving those 2 first-round picks, you still got to give Tua $50-something plus million? Do you think a team would be willing to do that?
That'd be only Denver or Arizona.
Well, Denver's probably going to sign their quarterback this year. Arizona's not, but Denver probably is. So what? Just Arizona?
I was making a scientific argument.
What about maybe a team like Seattle, right? Maybe Seattle, maybe Oakland, right? These are teams.
No, they're not giving up 2 first rounds, and they just paid Geno.
I think Oakland would probably get a quarterback this year in the draft too.
Maybe if one. I agree. Again, we can look at every team. We can look at every team.
There'd be less quarterback needy teams next year.
We can look at every team that needs a quarterback currently stated right now. And there's probably going to be 5 quarterbacks taken that are going to be teams that are going to try that guy out for 3 to 5 years
to figure out. Right. You and fucking God and 31 other teams would fucking give their entire draft board for him. Fuck you all. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. And listen, I'm going to be honest. And I guess I would be the Tua near out of the group that we had tonight on the panel. I would be the resident Tua near, I guess, in this scenario. And I am out here saying that I would not give Tua Tagovailoa I would not give up.
You ain't Tua near and right, bro.
Yeah, dog. Where's your $250 million for Tua near?
No. I've never said
$300 million.
200. No, I've never said he was worth that. Again, I've been very consistent. I'm just saying to the scenario I laid out. If I'm a general manager of any of the 31 teams, and that was the scenario facing Tua next year, he was on the market, but it was 2 first-round picks and a contract that I had to hand out to him. I'm not making that happen. I'm just not.
And why would
because you're going to have to pay him $30 million. I'm not 30, but 50 plus.
If that's a trash deal, then why would we do it?
Well, because we're not
Do
giving up
we
2
do
first-round
we
picks.
know something about Tua that they don't?
No. Again, what's holding me back really, and again, that 55 number, he's not worth that. But it's more the compensation at that point. If you, what I'm saying is,
Yeah, you mean you got to
if Tua,
lose 2 first-round picks
you're
while
losing
paying
2
them.
first-round picks while paying them. That's why.
I hear you. I hear you there.
It's not really
Yeah, you can't give up
in
that.
that
Yeah,
scenario.
I
It
don't
wouldn't be
think
the money.
none of the 30 teams are doing that.
Okay,
Yeah,
but there were
at that
teams
point,
that
it wouldn't be
did
the
that.
money.
Look, the Cleveland Browns gave their entire next 3 years drafts and $300 million for Deshaun Watson, but we weren't willing to give him nothing. We weren't willing to do a deal. Lamar Jackson, now he didn't, there were no draft picks involved, so we'll throw that one out. You know what I mean? But like, I'm just saying,
Our picks were.
if he is the guy that everybody claims, which is the reason we should do something with him, anything, because again, I smoke good weed, Lewis. I'm at a time in my life where I don't even waste my time, because where do you even find regs anymore? You know what I mean?
I was about to say, Color. Goddamn it, I
Right,
smoke
right.
good weed too, Color. Goddamn
Right,
it.
but back in the day, there was some
Yeah.
regs that was so bad that even though you were getting a deal, you were still throwing your $5 out the window.
Yep.
I'd rather buy a pack of cigarettes.
Yep. I would
Like,
rather
just
have
because I
nothing
need
than
weed,
have
Well,
to
I
have
have
a
no
bag of
experience in
trash,
that
dog.
department.
something
I
don't
don't
do the
smoke.
job.
I would rather have
I don't even inhale.
And don't try to, and here's the thing, right? Don't try to fucking upsell me saying it's middies too. Fuck out of here, dog. That's just fucking
What I'm saying
fluffed up
is
garbage.
what I'm saying is, the dealer would say, oh, you ain't got $25? All right, I got some of this over here for 10. And I'd be like, nah, because $10 that's throwing $10 out the window. I'm already 25 in the hole.
Yeah, fuck out of here with your regs and your mids, dog.
All right, I'm
Bad
lost
weed.
on
There's
this
some
conversation.
stuff that's below a standard where you're
Well,
like, I don't even
Red,
want
White, and
to
Bill
waste
said
the
he
money
liked
to
bad
even do
weed.
that, even though it's a deal. Like if somebody was going to give me a pound of it for $10, I still don't want it.
Bad weed.
Like that's a waste of $10.
I mean, not for me. If that's the case, if I'm getting a pound for $10, the way I
If you
have
knew that none of that herb was going to even scratch the surface on you, bro.
I still have the gift of gab, Color. I'm turning that $10 into a $50 come up.
Oh well, you're
I'm
talking
telling you
about
right now.
flipping it.
Well,
You're talking
see
about flipping it. That's different.
now you're talking about
That's
trading
different.
to it for a bag of weed.
Right? That's what you're talking exactly. Now, when you go to flip it, who are you flipping it to? People that don't.
Dumbasses.
Yeah,
keen as you
dumbasses.
are on the
Dumbasses.
weed.
You're gonna put a little bit of fucking you're gonna
I'm
take
calling-
that Reggie.
I-
You're gonna
I'm
take that
calling
Reggie,
Tom
put some Mountain
Garfinkel.
Dew on that bitch, and get a little weight to it and shit, and
Yeah,
let it sit in the
that's what I'm
freezer a
doing.
little bit, change its geostructure and shit,
Yeah. I'm calling a guy like Tom Garfinkel, Color. That's what I'm flipping it to.
Hey, I got this bridge.
Yo, I gotta do quick house cleaning. I don't know if Dre's still in the chat, but he left for a minute, so I didn't address it earlier. Earlier, he made a comment saying
Uh-oh.
something.
You're in trouble now, Dre.
Papa Greer put together a Super Bowl staff because I mentioned that he had scouted Tom Brady. What I didn't get to say was, while it might think that it may sound like that's saying he's responsible for that Patriot dynasty and all that. Bill Belichick fired him the year Bill Belichick got hired. He scouted Tom Brady and fired him. Then he went to Houston and scouted J.J. Watt, and they fired him.
Hey, Shake, you need to send Von Joe the link. Put up Von Joe's comment. I would really want to know who's in the community smoking Reggie.
Real quick. So what it means is Von Greer didn't put
Yeah, I
together
need
that
to know.
Super Bowl team. He just scouted Tom Brady. That's what I was just clearing up. Go ahead,
I
man.
need a name on that, Von Joe.
Yeah,
Goddamn it.
they're putting
Man, Von Joe, you just have him give me a call. I'll set him right as far as the pathway to getting a license and never having to buy that
Look
shit.
at that man in that suit, Color. You don't think he knows how to get a motherfucking license? Look at him. That bitch is brokering marijuana licenses right there on that phone. What you mean?
Let's
Von Joe is
CEO
one of the most
Bonjo.
intelligent people I know.
I don't know about all that. I'm just busting your shit.
Who you talking about, Von Joe?
Intelligence you don't know about.
He's
Who?
got the CEO look.
I have no idea. I don't even know who Von Joe is.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
I have
Who
no
is that
idea.
guy?
Yeah, I know, Dre. I know, Dre.
So here, right? Like here. Okay, let's just go through it a little bit on because I like this topic a little bit. It's fun. We're having a good time. I know the haters, and we're gonna talk about some other stuff because apparently, we the Finn's Tailgate are the toxic in the community. We'll get on that, but a lot of teams we expect to get quarterbacks this draft, right? I think we all expect. The Broncos are in there, right? We the Saints are a possibility. The Giants, the Raiders, even teams like Tampa Bay, who knows what they'll do if somebody drops to them, right? The Seahawks, definitely the Commanders, the Titans. These are all teams that they don't have answers at quarterback. Now they can tell you that they feel great about said quarterback. I mean, even Atlanta, who just signed whatchamacallit, and they got Ritter, that doesn't mean they're not going to fucking get somebody. There's teams that aren't going to get their quarterbacks. And then there's also teams like the Titans, right? They got Will Levis. I think they want to see what they got in Will Levis one more year. Well, if they make the mistake in not drafting a quarterback and Will Levis isn't the guy, they don't like him, he can't get it done, this is a team that could be in the market for Tua if he were to go and become a free agent his 6th year in the NFL. So hypothetically, Dolphins don't get Tua signed, and the 5th year comes and goes, and his production is relatively same to what he got last year, meaning that we got in the playoffs, didn't win in the playoffs. He's around, the mid 4,000s in passing yards with, 26, 27 touchdowns passing and, 11, 10 interceptions.
You mean
right?
like this year?
That's exactly right. That's pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm saying. So it's a mirror of it. Dolphins have successes, but not the kind of, and now he's entering into the open free agent market. Dolphins want to sign him, want to get him on a contract. It's the same deal they had for him that they thought he was worth this offseason. And they're like, hey, that same deal is still available if you want to do it. He's like, no, I'm a free agent. I want to see what I can get on the market. Let's list the teams that miss out. I'm gonna write down a couple of teams' names because I want to do a little exercise here real quick. Let's list teams. The first team I got here is the Titans, right? What other teams do you guys think that could be in the market for a quarterback at the end of the 2024 season?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard because there's teams that's going to be drafting quarterbacks, and again, even the Titans. Why would I pay Tua $50-something plus million when I got Will Levis there?
Well, again,
it's
this is off the assumption. Well, okay, look, I'm going to put 3 teams on here very quickly.
Okay.
We'll put the Titans on there because Will Levis can't get the job done, and say it's in a situation where they're 3rd in their division, which is very easily obtainable for them right now because Houston looks pretty good. Jaguars are better than them, and the Titans, fall off, we'll just say, right? They still got to deal with the Colts. They could be last in their division and only win 4 or 5 games, and they're like, you know what? Will Levis can never get this job done. They're going to fire the coach. They're going to, you know what I'm saying? They're going to fire all the shit. They're going to, try to bring something in, a guru, whatever. They like their talent. I don't know. We're just going to say the Titans could be a team that would be – I'm just trying to put together how many teams –
by the way,
what I really want to
Raiders.
do, how many teams –
Vegas Raiders.
Are you putting that transition tag on them though, Cap? Or are you just letting them go?
I'm doing an open free agent. I want to know what teams would even pick up the phone to call Tua Tagovailoa in 2025 for his services of the 50+ million that he wants. Okay, so let's get a list. I've got the Titans. I've got
here's the number. remember Matthew Stafford is getting up there, and there's
Great
a big
point.
Samoan population
Rams.
in LA.
I like that. Rams. Let's put them on the list. Okay, so
about the
right now I
Seahawks?
have 3 teams on the list. I've got the Titans, the Seahawks, and the Rams. What other team could potentially be
Arizona.
Cardinals?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do something.
No, they
about
have an
Kyler
expensive
Murray.
quarterback.
Well, again, let's just put these teams down because then I'm going to go into what their finances look like
Yeah,
in
they're not
2025.
finishing that contract, bro, with Kyler Murray. They've got to find a way to get off of him, dude. So Tua could actually serve them.
So
really
what about like Tampa Bay, right?
I don't know
mean,
about that.
what about Tampa Bay? Do you think Tampa Bay really thinks that Baker Mayfield? I don't see. I would say Tampa Bay could be in on it, but I also would say
I think Baker Mayfield has a big enough chip on his shoulder that we need to re-ask that question at the end of this year because he may just be about to go on a tear.
well, not just
Or he
that,
could
but
fall
like
on his face. I'm just saying, like
yeah,
I don't think they're convinced. If to answer your question in the short term, I don't
didn't they
think
just
they're
sign him to a
convinced.
3-year deal with like 78 guaranteed?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
average money. Yeah, average.
Yeah,
money.
so I'm not gonna put Tampa Bay on there.
And
I'm
plus,
not gonna-
they got Kyle Trask that they grooming. That's been
Sackman
that
says,
waiting.
"Listen, Red, White, and Bills, the Jets. Rodgers will be up. They're probably
don't
not going to
draft
be in a
quarterback.
position. Listen, they're not going to be in a position financial or in the draft to get a quarterback. Maybe the Jets. Let's put the Jets in there.
Where do
What about the
Jets
Saints?
play?
We're not
Where do
drafting
the
in the
Jets-
first
Good
round.
grief.
Hold
We're
on,
gonna have to have a
everybody.
quarterback in the
That's what I
first
was about
round.
to say.
Where's what? Where's what, Lou?
Where do the Jets play again?
New York.
in the AFC East.
What does it do in New York that it doesn't do in Miami?
Snow.
It snows.
Why in the
Yes.
fuck? You know what? Never mind.
Okay, well that's a different topic,
And
Lou.
they be still playing Buffalo twice, right?
That's
Actually,
a-
the Saints is a good team. Saints
That's
For
a
the
different
same reason
topic.
The Saints
Lou.
will be there. Yeah, the Saints will probably be one shake. Well,
For the same reason they send good wide receivers to Chicago
So,
that have attitude problems.
so you're not saying that the Jets don't need a quarterback. You're saying the Jets would never want a quarterback like Tua, is what you're saying.
I'm
Right.
just saying
that owner
yeah,
probably
I
wouldn't
mean,
want that. Yeah.
If the Jets
That's
know
not his style.
everything, I mean, they're in our division. They play them twice a year. If they all know, like some of the narratives that go around about Tua in, early December,
Yeah,
late
you're
Well,
right,
I've heard
Louis.
it
I
from
don't
their
see that
players.
owner.
We've heard it from
why?
their players, Lou.
You would eat him alive. Are you kidding me?
Why would they,
boys,
why would
we
they make
heard
that move?
the take Lou is making.
Yeah, that
We've
New York
heard
media
their
will destroy
players make that take that he can't play in cold weather games and he's a first-rate quarterback. So yes,
Yeah, New York is not an ideal situation for him.
so we're gonna take the Jets off the list.
He might
Let's see,
actually
Saints.
He might go. He might
What-
seek mental help.
what about
after
the
he-
Broncos?
New York media.
Well, I would say yes to the Broncos, Mr. Polk, but like I still want to kind of operate understanding the draft and where people are drafting. Like I'm not going to put the Bears on the list. I'm not going to put the Broncos on the list. Those are two teams that are I'm not going to put the Patriots on the list. Those are three teams that are definitely drafting quarterbacks. Those are three teams that are drafting quarterbacks. These aren't teams. Well, we could even leave the Jets on the list, right? But we'll take it off just for the sake. These are all teams that after the draft in 2025 season would be calling Tua Tagovailoa's representation because they have a vacancy at quarterback and want to see what it would cost them for his services. That's it. That's all the exercise we're doing. We're making a list of those teams. Right now we have the Titans, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Saints. Any other
I don't
teams
know
out
about
there?
the Seahawks.
Why? Listen, Geno Smith is
They
not
got
their
too much
answer.
money tied up, and they drafted a
It's
quarterback
not
behind
though.
him already.
It's really at the end in 2025. It's really not though, Crypto. And I'm gonna do that once we have this list. I'm gonna see what their financial situation's like.
Not to mention that a location like Seattle would
No, they
actually
just
be
played
enticing to Tua in his.
I mean,
city.
look. We know teams. Ravens, no. Bills, no. Carolina Panthers, no. They still have Bryce Young. They're not going to move off of him in his third year. Chicago, no. They're going to draft a guy They're getting
Not in
what's
that
his
city.
fucking name?
Not in the
Yeah.
Windy City. No.
It doesn't matter about the Windy City. We're not going to try to put
I
the elements in.
got a team that y'all are going to be surprised
versus
with,
New
but
York.
they're going through the same thing that the Miami Dolphins are going
Dallas.
through right
New
now.
York.
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay, so the thing
That's
with
only a
Dallas,
draft
right?
pick
Line,
gone,
Lewis.
but they got
Here's
to pay him.
here's the thing with Dallas, right? And here's the deal: are they going to pay Dak
Right.
Prescott the money, or are they going to pay
already
Tua?
they already came out and said, I see, because I think where Tua's asking for, let's say there's a 5 in front of that number, right? They're saying, so reportedly Dak wants
6.
a 6 in
Yeah,
front
I
of
know.
that number.
He wants
So-
60, and they want and Tua wants 50. I agree with you.
So why wouldn't I pay again? If I look at it just from a surface level, hey, Dak Prescott puts up numbers, right? Tua Tagovailoa puts up numbers.
Again,
What's the difference?
I understand.
I can basically get Tua to replace Dak for, let's say, $10 to $12 million cheaper.
we're not going to put Dallas on this
Yeah, it's
list
good. Well,
because the same list applies. The same outcome of this list and example we're doing applies to Dallas, right? We're going to use the same, like Dallas can use this same short list. Now imagine this, right? And here's a variable we haven't considered. Imagine it just isn't Tua that's a free agent on the open market year 6. It's Tua and Dak. How about them fucking apples? You know what I'm saying?
This is the wrong
No, that's
conversation for
possible.
me anyway. Because I'm
that's
telling you right
possible.
now, if there's not
both
a
of them at the
long-term
same
deal,
time.
you're going to get Tua off my hands if we're going to play the game out. But I am trying to get 2 first-round picks off of him because I'm slapping Tua's ass with the transition tag faster than a rabbit gets fucked.
I agree with you.
You want Tua, you better pony up them 2 first-round picks, God damn it. And if that's the
Well,
case,
that means you don't want to get rid of
again,
him.
Well, no,
Well,
they
and
can
don't
ride
do that.
him on the franchise number.
They could always franchise him. Absolutely.
They could always
could
ride that
franchise
franchise number.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The simple fact is I'm transitioning them, right? Because if someone's willing to give up 2 first-round picks, but regardless of the fact, before we even talk about the compensation, other teams will reach out to Tua and his representation to see if they could even work out a number before that team would call Chris Greer and say, hey, man, we got something in line with Tua. We felt comfortable giving you those 2 first-round picks. So that's why in this scenario, for me, I'm throwing that transition tag.
So
Because if we're all having trepidations of what that number is, why not let the league set that number?
So
Why not
okay,
let the league tell us what Tua's
before we get into the compensation of a team needing to pay 2 first-round draft picks, I don't want to get into that part of the variable just yet because let's call it for what it is, right? Like maybe the team doesn't have 2 first-round draft picks in the next 2 years, or you know what I'm saying? Maybe I don't know, right? We'll see.
No, what I'm saying is, Cap,
they
even
can
if you
spread
throw in
them
the
out.
even if you throw the tag out, right? Take the picks out. Don't even worry about the picks in this scenario. With that tag, though, you're still allowing teams to call Tua and his representation to work out the number.
Yes.
So once that tag hits,
But Lewis, I don't think that happened with Lamar.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
It's exactly what happened with
Not
Lamar.
teams calling them first because we didn't know his number. We just knew the
once they put the transition tag, teams called with numbers, and then again, Lewis, I understand your point, right? They're like, no problem, Tua. I'm transition tagging you. Go see what the market could bear. That's I'm agreeing with that potential outcome, Lou. What I'm saying is that what teams are even in need. That's right now for this part of the conversation. I'm just trying to find what teams would even call, and then we'll see what teams that would even call could fucking afford $55 million, and then we'll see what teams that could call that would need that would pay him 55 that could afford to pay him $55 million also could afford to lose draft capital. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just dissect this all the way down.
They play in the dome.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
And then we can take out of those teams that are left, which are not ideal places and cities and programs for a quarterback like Tua. You could take those right off the rip.
Well, we already got 6 teams. I don't think we're going to find many more.
Well, that's
the Vikings. I think it should.
Let's go through it real quick.
No, because the Vikings are getting their quarterback this year in the draft.
I'm gonna go ahead and go through it rather quickly. Cardinals, we got on the list. Falcons, I don't think the Falcons are
No.
a team. They're not. They just paid
No.
Kirk Cousins.
No,
He ain't going
they're
nowhere.
not. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Baltimore, no.
No.
Buffalo, no.
No.
Chicago, no.
No.
Panthers,
Detroit,
No.
What about the Steelers?
Hold on, let me go down the
Steelers,
list,
no.
everybody. I've got a list right here. Bengals, no. Browns, no. Cowboys. I'm gonna put Cowboys on the list, but we'll reconvene. We'll go over our list in a second, right? Okay. Denver, no. Lions, no. Green
No.
Bay, no.
No.
Texans, no. Colts, no. Jags, no. KC, no. Vikings. What does everybody feel about the Vikings?
They're drafting their quarterback this year.
Unless they drop the quarterback this year, then no. They don't. Then they wait.
They've
Then no.
already moved up once, and there's reports that they're thinking about moving up again. They're
true.
not doing it.
Moved up to
They're
what spot in the first?
So I'm
ain't
putting
gonna
them on
matter.
the
They're already at 11
I'm putting the Vikings on the maybe list, okay, just for the time being.
Hey, but by the way, I was talking to Crypto the other day about the Vikings. I would love to see Chris Greer go to Tua. Tua, you're a Christian, right? He goes, yes, I am. He goes, that means you preach forgiveness? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Because you and Brian Flores can make amends next year. I'm trading you to Minnesota.
No, that ain't happening. Minnesota's grabbing their quarterback this year.
I agree, but okay, let's continue down the list. I've put them on the maybe list anyhow. We've got Patriots. No. We've got the Saints. I think the Saints could be a potential option. What about the New York Giants?
I think they get their quarterback this year.
Okay,
yeah,
so I'll put them on the maybe.
Right.
Okay, I'll put them on the maybe. Right. We've got now. Just remember, right? The Bears, the Patriots, and the Broncos. Hold on. Wait a second. Let me write this down. Bears, Pats, Broncos are all teams we say that are going to take a quarterback. All right, so hold on. Let's continue. Jets. What do we think about the Jets?
No.
Okay, no Jets. What about the Raiders?
No.
I mean, listen.
I think the Raiders draft their quarterback this year too.
I got you,
Yeah,
but
unless they're
I'm
gonna
going to
go
put the
with kid
Raiders.
that
I'm going to
Joe
put the
promised last
Raiders.
year.
I'm going to put the Raiders on the maybe list, okay? Let's go to the next. Philadelphia, no. Steelers.
No.
Why not the Steelers? Because
they're done. They got quarterback contingency plan already. They got Wilson and Fields there already. That's their contingency.
Yeah, but Wilson and Fields both are only on 1-year deals.
That's why I say too.
Yeah, but I think
but that means still on they want to keep.
No,
I don't
like
think
said,
Russell will.
If Tua's gonna go to a team, it has to be two things: warm weather or a dome. And Pittsburgh is not
again. You guys are trying to end the exercise with all the what Tua could, would, and should do. I'm just trying to give what if. Okay, plain and fucking simple, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm Tua's representation, what do I have to threaten them with? That hey, these are the people that are going to beat down my door to pay him the money. You should pay him now. That's what I want to find out. What are they going to hold to the Dolphins that it potentially gives them a type of situation where they go, well, I don't want to lose Tua to this team who would definitely pick him up for $55 million. We're going to figure that out.
You could put the Steelers on the maybe list.
Well, the thing is, the Steelers as an organization is about consistency and continuity. They don't just move off quarterbacks in 1 year.
That's all contextual. We'll get to that after
I
the
would
list.
I would just say maybe, Cap.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Steelers are on the maybe list. We've got the Chargers. Chargers are a no.
Because we're not too sure about Fields and like I said, Russell Wilson.
Well, hold on. We've got the Seahawks. I've got the Seahawks on the list. Personally, the next team is the Rams. I got the Rams on the list. We've got Tampa Bay. I've got Tampa Bay with a no. We've got the Titans on the list, and then there's the Commanders, right?
No. They're
no
picking
Commanders?
a quarterback with the second pick of this year's draft.
They're drafting their quarterback. Yeah.
Okay,
their quarterback
they got the number 2 pick.
So, okay. And then the last team that I'm going to ask you guys about, the San Francisco 49ers. Do the San Francisco 49ers, because Brock Purdy, this is his 4th year coming up. He's not a first-round draft pick. They don't have a 5th-year option. They need to make a decision come extending him or do they go in a different direction?
Which they will.
I mean, look. Go ahead.
That's a done deal.
The man
in his second season as a starter, he went to the Super Bowl. They keeping him.
The man went to the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. They're re-signing that man.
But do they say to them,
it's locked in.
Do they say to themselves?
Well, I want to say San Francisco is going to be the first team that say, you know what, we're just gonna reset the instead of saying reset the quarterback market, they're just going to reset the quarterback position.
And Andrevius makes a good point. Brock Purdy's entering his 3rd year, not his 4th.
Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was his. I thought it was his first. Okay, well then San Francisco's not on the list.
They found their guy.
Okay, so now that we have 3 lists here, I have a list of definites, I have a list of maybes, and then I have a list of teams are all in agreement on that are teams that would draft a quarterback this year. Now, out of those maybes that you all said, it's because you guys think that they're going to draft a quarterback or have something at that position, right? Here's the deal. How many quarterbacks are getting drafted in this fucking draft that somebody's going to not go purchase Tua for? How many quarterbacks you guys think is going to go in this draft?
I would say 6.
6 total, so 6 teams. So right now we have 4 teams that we are all certain of that are going to take a quarterback. The 4 teams are the Bears.
4 teams. Commanders, Vikings, and Broncos.
No. The Bears, the Pats, the Broncos, and the Commanders are all 4 teams. Just hold on a second real quick.
Oh, I think they're going to be taking there's going to be 10 quarterbacks taken, 6 to be starters, 4 or 5 to be.
Well, yeah, there'll be a bunch, but we're talking really first round and second round guys that a team would say, "Hey, I like what I have in talent." We can't go, well, I think, so and so from Virginia, School of Commerce is a dark horse that they get selected in the 7th round that the San Francisco 49ers will make one of their starter. That we can't enter in those variables in on this thing. It's just it's a little bit too.
No, I would say
that'll be probably the best quarterback in the draft class.
That'll be the best quarterback.
I would say I'm with Crypto, about 6 to 7 guys.
I would say 6 or 7, right? Okay. Yeah. So just to be clear, we have 4 locked in taking quarterbacks right now, right? The Bears, who sit number 1. Okay. The Commanders, who sit number 2. The Patriots, who sit number 3. And then we have the Broncos, where the Broncos are picking at 12. All right. In the list of maybes, we have the Cowboys, the Vikings, the Giants, the Raiders, and the Steelers. Okay? The Vikings pick right before Denver. The Giants pick number 6th in the draft.
Who's at number 4, Cat?
Arizona.
I believe that's where we get our first. And again, I know
get a trade back.
We're trading the Arizona Cardinals are trading the 4th overall pick to slide back to 11 with the Minnesota Vikings. You hear it here first. Okay. The Minnesota Vikings are trading up from 11 to 4 with the Arizona Cardinals to get their quarterback.
So the Vikings now trading up have taken themselves off the maybe list and put themselves as taking the 4th quarterback in this draft. Now guess what? Denver is at 12. And the Vikings have manipulated themselves 1 pick ahead of Denver. Can they get the deal done? Because to me, you're right. That 4th pick in the draft for Arizona is Arizona's looking to trade back. Whoever's offering more from the Vikings or Denver is getting that pick, right? Whoever's offering more is getting that pick because that's who the bidding war is. But who else do we have on this list? Cowboys aren't trading up to get a quarterback. That ain't happening. No. The Cowboys are far away. They are the 24th pick in the draft. They aren't moving up. So we can keep.
What about the Steelers?
The Steelers
where-
are the 20th pick.
No.
The Steelers aren't moving
they're
up
20th.
in
They're
the
not
draft.
moving up.
No,
Where are the
They're staying
Saints?
pat.
Where are the Saints drafting?
The Saints are drafting at the 14th
Should be
pick.
in.
That is 2 picks behind Denver, 3 picks behind Minnesota.
That is another trade possibility right there. The Saints trying to get up.
Now, here's the thing, right? The New York Giants are the 6th pick in the draft.
Uh-oh.
The
They
Giants
move up.
are a team that is a maybe team. Do they really believe in they definitely don't believe in the guy they've already paid. Do they believe in the little Italian guy, whatever the fuck his name is, that was playing for him? I don't think they believe in either one of them. Yeah, the Vito guy.
Yeah.
Da Vinci.
No, it's Danny DeVito.
DeVito.
No, it's DeVito.
It was Dan. His
It's
name is
DeVito.
Danny DeVito, isn't it?
No, Danny DeVito is the guy from Twins.
Yeah, I thought.
Yeah,
it was
I know that, but I thought the quarterback's name
But
was
it's
Danny
the
DeVito.
his name
No,
is
it's Tommy
DeVito.
DeVito.
Tommy DeVito, that's right.
Yeah,
Something
it's
like
DeVito,
Tommy,
but
Danny,
it's a
same
different
shit.
first name.
Tommy and Danny, same shit.
Oh, it was the Cowboys that had DeLucci. That's who it was. The
DeLucci,
Cowboys.
yeah,
Ben
Yeah.
Ben DeLucci or whatever his name was. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Danny
But yeah, they
DeVito.
got
is,
DeVito.
it's always
No,
saying
I
he's
believe
up
I believe the Giants might stay packed there. I think they pick up their quarterback too. I think we're gonna have a rash of quarterbacks in the first round in this draft.
It might be. It might rival 1983.
Yeah, there's probably gonna be maybe a guaranteed at least 5, but there could be 6,
5.
maybe 7 in the first round. I'm telling you,
We're
that.
looking at a 1983 replay here.
All these teams that are, again, all the maybe teams that we got, those guys, they're going to get quarterbacks in this year's draft. I wouldn't be surprised within the first 10 picks of this draft, you see 5 out of those
Off
10
the board.
quarterbacks.
Right.
You know what, though? Everybody says that every fucking year, and only 2 go in the top 5. It happens every
That's true,
fucking
too. It
year,
happened
dude.
a couple of years
It happens
ago.
every year, and only 2 of them go in the top 5. So,
I don't know, bro. I think remember the years of the Minnesota Vikings getting Christian Ponder and the other guy that was at Florida State, I believe, and they just. I think this year there's so many teams in the market for quarterbacks. That's why you're going to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a run on quarterbacks and receivers, man.
I mean, think about it. The first 3 picks are locks at quarterback.
Damn, the Chargers can end up with Marvin Harrison. Now that I think about it, he can
And-
slide all
are
the way
they
there and fall
locks
in their
at
lap.
quarter? They're locks at quarterback, but don't be surprised if the Patriots go back to like 6, right, and trade with the fucking Giants, and then like one of these other teams come all the way up the board like that to take a quarterback with the 3rd pick, and the Patriots take one with the 6th. But again,
Well, I think
whatever.
they like Daniels.
Well, you know why there might see a desperate team. I know I said Minnesota might be picking, but the problem with this draft is right. And I'm not saying that the quarterbacks are bad or whatever, but it's perceived that Caleb Williams is the top of the draft, right? He's going.
Yeah, he's a
number one,
bear.
We all know. He's a bear, but I'm talking about from a play standpoint. Everybody else, they could be good quarterbacks, but they're all the same. So why would a team like if I'm sitting there to the Giants, right? They pick at 6. What's the diff? Why am I trading up to go get Bo Nix or Drake May or Michael Penix or JJ McCarthy when they're virtually the same guys, right? They're good quarterbacks, but it's not like, oh, I got to draft up because this guy is so elite. There's only one real considered guy that's going to be elite. Everybody else, they're good quarterbacks, but I don't think you're going to see teams. It's not like an Andrew Luck and then the next person is Patrick Mahomes and then it's Deshaun Watson. They're
No.
multiple good
To
quarterbacks.
me,
I think everybody's
pick,
lumped in.
the Jaden Daniels is the apple of the fucking draft. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, and I'll be proven right as time goes on.
And that's
But-
what I think, Cap. I think Jaden Daniels goes number 2. So I think your 1 and 2 is Williams,
Yes.
Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels is 2. Now,
So
New England, where does he go for 3?
I think New England probably takes Drake May.
They'll end
There
up
you
with
go.
May.
Honestly,
There you go, right
I
there.
really
Yeah.
that is a
That's what I
New
see, too.
England fucking style Drake May quarterback. That is exactly what they look.
That's
But
what they
look,
want.
those are 3 guys. Then you have
The
JJ
heir apparent
McCarthy.
to Tom Brady.
So
you got
let's
Michael
go through.
Penix.
Well, hold on. Let me get it real quick. So JJ McCarthy, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, You also have somebody that we haven't heard a lot about last year. Last year during the college season in 2022, this guy was talked about everywhere. He was the next Patrick Mahomes, and nobody's talked a fucking wink about him. Spencer Rattler. And rightfully so.
Oh, he'll be one of those 10 quarterbacks that Shake was talking about.
I think he's a later round. I think he's one of those guys.
I think he's a second rounder, if not taken in the first round. I mean, listen, if you are the Raiders and you wanted to make a pick, right? And the Raiders draft at hold on, the Raiders are the 13th pick. They're behind Minnesota. They're behind Denver. They're behind the Giants. They're behind New England, Chicago, and Washington. All of those teams, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks got taken. And one of those 6 Vegas, wanted. Does Vegas say, fuck it, I'm taking Spencer Rattler? You know what I'm saying? Again, remember what this exercise is for, right? We want to see what teams are on there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying from that list, and we're eliminating a lot of those teams. Because I'm telling you now, those teams are drafting quarterbacks. So who was on that list as maybes? I think you put the Giants on the list as a maybe. That they're drafting their quarterback. They are getting one of those guys. I don't know which one it is.
Penix or Bo Nix, they're gonna have to believe in.
Again, that's fine. And come draft night, they're gonna believe in them because they're going to get their guy.
So okay, we now have in those picks 6 teams that are definitely taking quarterbacks. What quarterbacks they are, I don't know. Those 6 teams are what
the last 5,
What do we say those teams are? They are the
Patriots,
the Bears,
Commanders,
the Patriots, the Broncos, the Vikings, and
the Giants or the Saints.
No, the Giants.
Yeah,
the
Chiefs,
Giants
they need to figure out to get rid of that guy.
The Giants. The Giants is the wild card in this because the Giants are a bad organization. They might not fucking get him right. They might not. The Raiders. So we're now down to 4 maybe teams, which Cowboys, Giants, Raiders, and Steelers. The Cowboys are in no position to draft, so they can stay on the maybe list. The Giants are 6th, Raiders are 13th, Steelers are 20th. Now, if a quarterback lands to the Steelers and it's a Spencer Rattler and they like them, or a Michael Penix, I could see them making that. I could see them taking that. But all right, so let's not go into the draft anymore. We now have our list of teams. Our definites are the Titans, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, Saints. Those are our 5 definites. We have 4 maybe teams. Cowboys, Giants, Raiders, and Steelers. Let's say the Cowboys, Giants, Raiders, and Steelers, all teams. Cowboys are not, but I'm going to put the Cowboys on the definite list for Tua because they're not drafting a quarterback. Giants, Raiders, Steelers, 1 or 2 or all 3 of those teams could take any slew of other quarterbacks.
Right.
So let's look at this here. Cowboys. Let's see what their cap situation is like in 2020 for the 2025 season.
They're gonna probably be getting a new running back.
I don't care about running back.
Well, that's right, because they lost Pollard.
So let's see what their cap they will have. Now, this is without cap moving up. They will have $100 million in cap space in 2025. So Cowboys most certainly could afford Tua in a negotiation as a free agent. So I'm putting a star next to their name. Let's now look at what the Giants' 25 cap space would be. These are the maybe teams. Giants, cap space, 2025, would only have $34 million in cap space. Giants are out on the services for Tua Tagovailoa. Not that they couldn't afford, and not that the cap isn't going to go up, and not that they can't manipulate, but just to take them off the list, right? Let's look at the Raiders.
Yeah, trying to take them off.
Because they also are a team that might draft. That does mean they could potentially draft next year because they're going to suck. You know what I'm saying? So they're an easy team to take off. Let's look at the Raiders situation. Raiders cap in 2025 is $54.5 million. So that's a maybe. That's a maybe. They could afford them if they wanted them.
Yeah,
right?
In space.
Let's look at the Steelers.
Yeah, that's one of the teams I had kind of picked.
Let's see the Steelers. Which Q would be elated if the Steelers ended up taking Tua Tagovailoa. The Steelers will have $102 million in cap space in 2025. So, yeah, they could easily afford him and a complete turnaround on the team. And they say what you will, they don't have any quarterback under contract, while they do have a lot of fucking players under contract. They've got, fucking pretty much their whole damn defense under contract. So they could reinvent their offense around Tua in 2025. So, all right. Now let's look at the Titans, because these are the teams that we kind of worked down that would definitely be at the negotiation table, right? Titans 2025 cap space $75 million. They're in it. Let's see what the Seahawks cap space is. Hold on a second. Just want to look here real quick. They do have Will Levis and Malik Willis under contract through 2025. So that's just a little something to put there. A little asterisk. Let's check out the next team. Seahawks. Where the hell are they at? There they are. Seahawks in 2025. Wow. Seahawks have no money this year and next year.
That's what I was saying. You can't
the
take them off the
Seahawks
list.
have $2 million in cap space right now, and they're projected to have just under $2 million in 2025. But 2026, they've got $209 million. There's the rebuild year. Holy shit. All right, so Seahawks are now off this list, Crypto. Seahawks are now off the list. They could not afford, and financially doing what they're doing, it's not in a position to make it happen. Not that teams can't, just we're taking it off of, easier stats, right? Let's look at the LA Rams, who are on the list. Rams, cap space in 2025, only $12 million, $12.5 million. That's less cap than they have now, which is 14. Meanwhile, in 2026, they get all their money back, right? They got $125 million
coming off the books. Those big salaries.
So, what do you think? Rams are off the list, right?
Yeah, for that year, yeah.
Again, this is about what teams could even afford or be in the market for Tua Tagovailoa for 2025 if he became a free agent.
I don't think so, because I think the Rams, Aaron Donald retiring, I think they're kind of in the rebuild mode. I don't think they're paying $50-something million for a quarterback that
while they're rebuilding,
a team that's rebuilding. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, and guess what? Now we know for certain, right?
Point two, yeah, because they'll be drafting a rookie. Yeah.
Now we know for certain that they couldn't even afford it, right? So let's continue.
Right.
Cardinals are the next team on this list. Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Right now, Arizona's got $30 million in cap space. Next year, they'll have $112 million. So Cardinals are a definite team on the list. Let's check the next team. Saints. the Saints in 2025. Doesn't really
they
make
books
sense.
are always messed up.
Yeah, their books are fucking weird. Wow, the Saints, look at this. So the Saints have 8.3 million on cap right now. Next year they're projected for 73 million, but in 2026 they're only projected for 57 million. There's rework deals with Cameron Jordan that they're carrying Cameron Jordan, Demario Davis, Eric McCoy, Tyrann Mathieu, Granderson. They have a lot of reworked money that's going to give them the cap. So, okay, Saints can be on the list. So right now,
they got enough room.
They can be. So now we've whittled down teams that we definitely think would be interested in 2025 based upon, here's what we've done. We've taken teams that, based upon who they currently have at quarterback or don't have at quarterback, who could potentially be in the market 2025 for Tua's services. We also then applied which teams we think are definitely targeting draft picks this year and taking them off the list. The teams we've taken off immediately are the Bears, the Pats, the Browns, the Commanders, and the Vikings. Are 5 teams that will draft quarterbacks that won't want Tua's services in 2025. We've also had Cowboys, Giants, Raiders, Steelers as teams that potentially might want his services. And now we said which teams can afford it, right? We had all these teams, these maybes and definites that we thought. We had Cowboys, Titans, Seahawks, Rams, Raiders, Cardinals, Steelers, Saints. We've taken the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Giants completely off the table because none of them can afford it. There is now only 5 potential teams left that would be in the market for Tua Tagovailoa's services. That is the Cowboys, the Titans, the Cardinals, the Saints. It's 6 teams. The Raiders and the Steelers. So out of those 6 teams, Cowboys, Titans, Cardinals, Saints, Raiders, Steelers, which of those teams would never pick Tua for any of the reasons? They can't afford it. They're probably going to need to figure out a quarterback position, whether it's drafting a guy or buying a guy in 2025 or re-signing their own talent. Which of these teams can we take off the list that Tua isn't going to play for? They don't do it. We have the Raiders, the Steelers, the Saints, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Cowboys.
He won't play for the Steelers.
I think you can take the Cardinals off that list because the Cardinals are in a rebuild. They're going to be rebuilding.
And you know what's funny is, now that I think about it, Tua said he did grow up watching the Cowboys. His family were big Cowboy fans.
That's true. That's true. So think about it. So Titans, Cowboys, Cardinals, Saints, Steelers, Raiders. So I think what do you guys feel about the Raiders?
I think they're going to be in rebuild mode too.
I don't think so because they've got their entire defense intact and they can rebuild their offense and afford to buy a quarterback to build it around
on the fly.
So they could financially and everything make sense. If it's not the Steelers, it's just because Tua isn't a quarterback the Steelers would get. That I could understand. I'm willing to take the Steelers off the list, but not because they're in a rebuild. Steelers don't rebuild, bro. They just retool.
Yeah, they retool indefinitely. Yeah,
they were rebuilding this year, and they fucking got in the playoffs.
Still made the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm. But for me, I still think the Raiders get their quarterback in this year's draft.
Now that's it. Again, we're gonna come back to that. We're kind of spiraling in this discussion. I'm just trying to whittle down the list, right? So Steelers is a no. Okay.
Right.
What about the Raiders? I think the Raiders is a team we could say yes for. They can afford it. They probably would need it. Now we can have that discussion on whether they're the
climate's
sixth.
good for them. The atmosphere.
Okay, all that stuff. Also, they would be the sixth team that is 100% to take a quarterback in this year's draft. We can have that discussion afterwards. Let's just finish the list. The Saints. Is that a yes or a no? I think it's a yes. I think the Saints is a good.
Yes.
I would say a yes on the Saints.
Again, Saints is a perfect fit as far as what to
NFC dome team. What they play that West Coast system, all that shit. I mean, not the Raiders don't, or excuse me,
outside
the Saints.
of Mardi Gras, the culture is fine.
That's true.
Yeah, but again, see, I don't know.
Well, what, Lou?
I don't know. I don't know where the conversation is at this point because the Saints will be in a rebuild. They're firing their coach after this year. Dennis, I think it's that guy, Dennis. I forget his last name is escaping me. But he's already been there, 2 years, 3 years since Shane left, or at least 2. I think this is going into year 3. He's not making it out of this season. The Saints are going to be a bad team this year. They're probably going to win maybe 5 or 6 games. The coach is probably going to get fired.
Well,
they
were
bringing a whole
in
new
contention
regime
this year.
Well,
they were never in contention. Stop, Crypto.
But you know what? You know what's funny
is the division to the last week of the season. What are you talking about?
Crypto,
it's a bad division.
That was with 8 wins at week 18. Crypto.
Yo, is Derek Carr still on the fucking Raiders?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
He is. Yeah.
He is?
No, he's with the Saints.
Yeah, excuse me, the Saints. Excuse me, Derek Carr's on the Saints. My fault.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think, to be honest with you, the one question you got to ask yourself: Tua has to go to a team where he's going to be the cherry on top, and not the you know what I'm saying? A team that has the necessary pieces just to add him on and say this is the finishing touch.
Yeah, the Saints, in my opinion, are going to be a rebuild.
None of them teams on that list is in that position.
They're probably gonna start trying to trade off pieces like Cameron Jordan before he gets later in his career. Try to get assets for him. Demario Davis as the linebacker. They're probably trying to move off of him.
Well, Demario Davis has $4.5 million guaranteed. Tyrann Mathieu has $1 million guaranteed, and Chris Olave has guarantees. So does Trevor Penning. Brian Breeze, bunch of nobodies. Anyhow, Cameron Jordan has no guarantees, but they can get. Hold on a second. Let's see. If they cut him pre-June 1st, they would only get back $2 million of the $24 million that's owed to him. If they cut him post-June, now this is 2025 we're talking about, they would get back 12 and a half. And whatever they could again, here's the thing, right? Derek Carr, they could get $40 million back post-June, cutting him, giving him a post-June designation to move off the quarterback, and they have a lot of guys still under contract. Yes, there's nobody with guarantees, but they could most certainly. You know, they're a big maybe, bro. They're like one of the bigger maybes because, I mean, look, dude, they got a lot of guys under contract that they would carry dead money for 2 years, dude. I mean, they've got guys, they've got 20 guys still under contract in 2027.
But are those guys young, old, or like? Who are some of those guys?
I mean, we're talking Alvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, Marshawn Lattimore, Cameron Jordan, Ryan Ramczyk, Derek Carr, Demario Davis, Juwan Johnson. They got all the names.
And none of those. And you said there's nobody really with guaranteed money. I'm telling you, they're going to be in rebuild mode. I don't think the Saints we're talking about them being a real possibility. I don't think so. Because if they're, again, and this is just my opinion, but if they're in a rebuild, why are you paying a quarterback $50+ million?
The question really we're trying to answer, they would not be in the market for Tua, is what you're saying, because of their organization.
They're going, their organization is trending towards a rebuild? Why do you bring in a quarterback that you have to pay him 50+ million when you're not going to have nothing around?
Well, because I mean, look, they're in the
you
they're literally in the weakest division in all of sports right now.
Yeah, if you can add more pieces quickly,
you know what I'm saying?
Well,
you can do that
it's
with
funny.
New Orleans and get away with
funny. It's funny you said that, Cat, because in that same division they got Baker Mayfield, which everybody was telling me.
And now they got Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is over there, right? A guy that we wanted over here to replace Tua. A guy that Baker Mayfield that everybody in this community, well, not you, Cap, I know, but a lot of people were saying that Baker Mayfield is so much of an upgrade. He's going to be great. How is that the weakest division
lateral
in football
move at best.
when they got two quarterbacks that we wanted over here? How can that division be so weak?
Because it is. Those quarterbacks are weak, and that's why I didn't want either one of them.
So now they're weak.
That's why I didn't want either one of them. And if I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Tua fits right up in that bitch, dog. It's perfect in that division, goddammit.
There's a reason I like you.
Yeah, fuck both them assholes. Again, all right. I'm keeping them on the maybe, dog. Still, we'll circle back on the. Right now, we have the Raiders as the only team. Steelers are a hard no. Raiders are a yes. Saints are a maybe. What about the Cardinals? Now, Cardinals, right? The Cardinals. Again, we've already confirmed they've got the money. We've already confirmed that they got the money. Right? They got the bread.
But they do have a history of switching quarterbacks like a carousel, though. So
the Cardinals,
they wouldn't surprise me if they did it.
Listen, Cardinals are fucked. They're not. Cardinals are fucked. They have to draft a quarterback. But they don't have to draft one just yet. The Cardinals are fucked. In 2025, dude, I don't know who Kyler Murray's agent is, but that's who you want as your agent. Because holy shit, they get nothing.
Yeah, he's got the best agent in football.
He's got the best. Dude, he is guaranteed in 2025 $30 million. He has no guarantees for 2026. But to me, the Cardinals are off this list on that reason alone. Yeah, I get that they've got $112 million the final year of Kyler Murray's contract, or second to final year of his contract. But even, dude, let's see. If they cut him, If they cut him, they give him a post-June designation. It'll only be $10 million in dead cap, and they'll get 42 back. But they're still going to carry dead cap the following year of, good Lord, they're still going to carry at least $8 million in 2027 from Kyler. So they are carrying no matter what. If they cut Kyler Murray in 2026, not 2025, because there's no incentive unless they get the guy to re-sign a deal. There's just no incentive. They're going to carry $28 million over the years of 2026 and 2027 for Kyler Murray. That motherfucker is a genius. Holy shit. Cardinals are done. They can't. Cardinals are a no, bro.
Sounds like a rebuilding team in Arizona.
Honestly, the Cardinals are a team that, to me, are let's see what we got this year. And if they they have a situation to double down next year, the following year in 2020, the 2025 season, because they're gonna have. I mean, shit, dude, they're gonna have $112 million in 2025. So, and they haven't signed fucking nobody. They got $30 million. They're holding pat right now. They're gonna probably if the Cardinals are smart, they're gonna trade back, grab a bunch of capital for 2025, have a bunch of draft picks to pick whatever quarterback they want, and maybe trade Kyler Murray, which isn't gonna happen, and they will have $112 million in 2025 when they draft a new quarterback. Have a weird quarterback room with Kyler Murray making literally $30 million to not play. We've seen this happen with teams before that sign a quarterback too early and get fucked. Anyhow, that doesn't matter because they're going to have money. They're not going to rebuild the way we think they are. But, yeah, I think they're not in the market. I put Cardinals are a no. All right, what about the Titans? Let's look at what the Titans got going on.
Maybe.
So, hold up. We know the Titans have the money. They'll have 75 mil. And they're in great cap situation in 2026 with 152 million. Let's see what kind of guarantees. We've got Will Levis, minimal guarantee. They wouldn't even need to cut. Yeah, they could. The Titans, if the Titans don't draft a quarterback this year, which I don't think they are a definite yes of a team that would be in the biddings. So right now, we got Cowboys left. So let's now check. Let's check the Cowboys. Where the fuck are they? What? Oh, they're there. Okay. So Dak Prescott's still under contract in 2025 and 2026. He has no guarantees this year, next year, or the following. They voided out his 2026, 2027, 2028 seasons with the restructure that they did. So they're carrying dead cap for all those years no matter what. Minimal amount of 14. Well, hold on. Let's see. If they were to cut him. Damn. If they were to cut Dak Prescott on a post-June deal, they would get $14 million back. He'd still be owed $26 million. And let's see. They're still going to pay him $12 million in 2026, $2 million in 2027, and $1 million in 2028. So he'll get, let's see, 12, 14, $15 million plus. So if they were to cut and move on to Tua, they would be paying Dak over the next 4 years during Tua's contract. They would have to pay him almost $50 million. So Cowboys,
that ain't happening.
Cowboys are a fucking
yeah. So so essentially you're paying like $70.
They're going to pay $100 million in the quarterback room in 2025. I don't fucking think so. Cowboys are a no. So now we have taken Cowboys, Titans, Cardinals, Saints, Raiders, Steelers, and right now we have the Raiders as a yes, the Titans as a yes, the other teams as a no, and the Saints as a maybe. So now we have whittled down the potential market of suitors that are willing to pay to or need a quarterback that could be potential suitors in a free agent market. Say Tua's free agent. We're not talking about draft picks. We're not talking about any of this other shit, right?
Cap, answer this question real quick.
No. I don't trade, the devil when you talk about Dak Prescott to Tua, right? If I'm going to trade Dak Prescott for Tua straight up, I like to stick to the devil right? Titans are a yes. Raiders are a yes. Saints are a maybe. Now, Raiders, Saints, Titans, which of those three teams could potentially take the sixth quarterback in the draft to take him completely off the list this year?
Raiders.
Raiders are picking what was it? Raiders are picking, I think it was 12th.
You're picking in the teens.
13th. Yeah. 13. So Raiders are picking at 13. Saints are picking at 14. Jesus. And Titans pick at, where are the Titans at? Holy shit.
They're like the 6th pick, right, or something?
No. The 7th.
The Titans ain't going quarterback in the draft. They're going to play out with Will.
Yeah, well,
that's right.
Yeah, Levis shows some promise.
Titans are not. Saints. We have the Saints and we have the Steelers, or Saints and the Raiders are the other two teams. So if one of those two teams takes a quarterback. Lou, you think that the Saints are in a ready for a rebuild and stuff like that, and you may be right. To me, there's only one potential team that is a suitor. Now, I'm just saying, like, look, if I was working for the Dolphins and they're like, oh, we think our quarterback's worth this amount of money, we want you to pay it. I say, well, no, you're going to ride out your 5th-year option and we'll reconvene. And they'll go, well, then we're whatever. They're going to force us to take him to free agency. They're not going to sign a franchise tag. They're going to go to free agency, right? Because that's what Christian Wilkins did. He said, no, I'm not going to sign the franchise. I'm not going to sign the contract. I'm going to go to free agency and see what I can get because I believe I'm worth $55 million. What teams are even calling? We've only got 2 teams out of 32 teams that are potentially calling. One's the Raiders, the other's or 3 teams potentially calling: Raiders, Saints, and Titans. And I mean, to me, the Saints, you could be right. They could be a team that isn't a rebuild. The Raiders, they've locked up so much money in things in a division that they've got to stay competent in with the Broncos, whatever they're going to do. They're going to be drafting a new young quarterback. They've got Patrick Mahomes to deal with, and now they got Harbaugh with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Could they want to bring in Tua to stay competitive in their division? I could see the Raiders as a real potential of a team that would be in the services of him. So I really think the 2 locks of this is the Titans and the Raiders. And then the maybe is the Saints. Think about that, right? How are you going to be able to hold in, or, try to flex on a motherfucker to say, well, we'll just go to free agency and we'll get the $55 million we want? How could you even say that when we just went through all the teams in the NFL? We took off all the teams right off rip that have quarterbacks that they're definitely not going to get, whether it's a young guy or a guy they've already paid, like Joe Burrow and shit. All those teams were taken off. We then went through the list and took teams that need quarterback today, not 2025. They need it in 2024, that are in position to take quarterbacks. That's the Bears, the Pats, the Broncos, the Commanders, and the Vikings, right? So then we found what teams could potentially be in a situation in 2025 to get, want, need, and be in the services. We took those teams, then we said, who can afford it? Well, now we found that there's only 3 teams that in 2025 can afford it, can potentially be in a spot that they want to do it, and all of that stuff. So who are the Dolphins in a break glass in case of emergency, a doomsday scenario for Tua and ears and Dolphins fans alike, that Tua's a free agent on the market? Who are we competing with for finances in the services? Who are the Dolphins going to have to worry about outbidding them for Tua Tagovailoa? It is the Raiders, it is the Titans, and it is maybe the Saints. Game, set, motherfucking match. Done.
I knew what you were doing here in this whole exercise, Cap. I knew what you were doing. God damn it.
What was I doing?
I was just playing the game with you. I knew where we were ending up.
I'm just saying, it's the reality, right?
Damn. So somebody get Chris Greer on the phone.
You're a dirty dog in these streets, Cap. God damn
it.
I don't know what you're talking about, dog. All I'm doing is the Lord's work out here. Literally. This was math.
Everybody's doing on everybody in the goddamn chat, on the panel, on everything. Goddamn, I know what you're doing, Cap. Goddamn it.
Well, tell me I'm wrong, Lou. We just did it. We just literally did the exercise.
Chris, somebody get Chris Greer on the horn.
Well, Cap, I got to say this.
All I'm saying is we just what we're not doing, right? And again, this is going to come off as a stretch, but the teams that we just came out and said, well, they have their quarterbacks or they have people, they're not moving off. We don't know what those teams are actually thinking, though. Maybe our opinion of what Tua might be or whatever, maybe not is not the opinion around the league, according to some general managers and stuff. Could that also be a case? Maybe a team that has a quarterback, but is
well,
kind of
Lewis,
like
I've always said that it's probably follows along with our fan base. Like you figure about 50% of the fan base.
I'll be right back, boys.
And that's probably what it is around the league. You know what I mean? Like if you averaged it out, 50% of the league-wide fans would think something positive and the other would think negative, you know? So that's my take.
Right. I agree.
Man, y'all just took me to school. Y'all just took me to
General
school.
managers. Who's been blacklisted and who's on the white list?
I think the school y'all went to, we had to wear leather helmets to get in. That's the school Cap took us down.
Well, like I said, I'm learning from you guys, man. That's all I say. I'm in the best place to learn, right here with the Fans Tailgate. And that reminds me, y'all hit that like button, please, and subscribe and support.
It was a good exercise. I knew what we were trying to do here, and again, you know, that's there is a strong case to be made. What Cap was basically saying, like, if we are to let Tua play out on this 5th-year option, if a deal does not get worked out, I mean, where is the competition, right? Ain't that the word that we always use? Well, where's the competition across the league, like, coming to take Tua away from us, even if he does play on a 5th-year option? Like, so I understand what the exercise was for. It was pretty good.
Which means Tua is going to have his Christian Wilkins moment.
Wow.
Get that bag like Christian Wilkins.
I don't know. Even with all that being said, I'm still going to ride with fucking Tua. At the end of the day, I don't, you know, again, I don't think he's as bad as everybody else or some in the community. And again, it's a two-way street. I'm not going to argue over $1 million here, $2 million here, whatever it is. I'm not going to argue that. I believe Tua has earned a contract. I believe that contract should have a 4 is the number that should start with that number, right? And I'm not going to argue. If it's 45, cool. If it's 46, cool. If it's 47, cool. I'm not going to argue semantics over $1 million here, more $1 million there. If Tua's asking for 50+ million, if that's a 5 in front of it, now that's where, again, a guy that roots for Tua and can talk positively about Tua, in the same breath, I can say that I don't believe Tua's worth anything with a 5 in front of it. So it just is what it is, man. We'll see what happens. I think two things could be true. It's the same argument I had with a lot of players, with Christian Wilkins. It reminds me exactly like Christian Wilkins. I love Christian Wilkins. I would have loved to have him here, but I think that number had to have a 1 in front of it. Now, if it's 16, 17, 18, 19, I'm not going to argue over a couple $1 million. But anything with a 2 in front of it, Christian Wilkins wasn't worth. Same thing with Tua.
And by the way, shout out to Dubs. Shout out to Dubs MC. He sent me this on my DM. I want to try to see it real quick. Can you see it?
It's a little small, but
hold on, I'll do it now. 1 second. That was funny. Look
how about them Cubs?
They're trash.
I'll wait until once we reel off 100 games in the regular season.
I just want to, for the record, just for everybody to know, the Rays
100 games in a row.
1-0 tomorrow.
What's that, Lou?
I just want it for the record, since baseball season does kick off tomorrow, the Rays will be starting 1-0 tomorrow. Just for the record.
The Rays, you know, the Rays, the Rays, you know, the Rays are the Buffalo Bills of the MLB.
Hey man, well, there's a difference. The Rays don't spend no goddamn money. They're in a division where not the Yankees have, and they print their own money in New York. The fucking Red Sox bought their championships too. They have millions of dollars to spend. The Rays, I think, going into the season, they have a total payroll of, I think what I heard was $49 million total. That's the team that has won that strict division for the last, I think, 3 out of the last 5 years. We know how to play baseball down here in Tampa. We just, we get overpowered for the most part. But if you look at it over the last 5 years,
He's cooking.
Hold on.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it. I feel it. He's cooking.
That's what it was. My bad. Go ahead. He said you
nah,
cooking.
that's some nasty work.
In some community news, a little birdie told me, a little inside source told me, a little rumor going around that WQAM local radio down in Miami is said to be in talks with a YouTube personality. So in order that they can break into the social media broadcasting market. So little birdie chirped in my ear.
I don't know.
You saying a social media person?
I heard
with QAM terrestrial radio.
Yeah,
I heard it was just a troll. Trolling. Yeah. But I could be wrong.
The rumor I got didn't specify a name. They just said
right. I hear you.
Well-known YouTube personality.
Hey man, regardless of what it is, hopefully, whatever anybody, and this is anybody on the panel, anybody that's listening in the chat, anybody just in life, hopefully they're striving and they're succeeding in life for whatever it is they do. I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently that work from home equipment is pretty good, man. You don't even have to live in the 305.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
AM radio is dead.
Yes, that was a hint, but obviously there ain't no big YouTube personalities in the 305 anyway. So, other than Miss Fins.
Oh, there's some OnlyFans personalities in Miami.
Well, that too, Shake.
Well, there's some YouTube personalities in Miami, or should say political pundits, like Dave Rubin lives in Miami. And also Adam Sosnick from the PBD podcast.
PBD.
Yeah, they had a live show the other day. I was asking him about his opinion on it. I didn't get no answer. He's like, growing up, he sounds like a New Yorker.
Big O is in Miami. Yeah, Big O is in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
He is? He's down there now?
I said,
actually, he's more Broward. He's in Broward now.
I said big-time YouTube personality.
Yeah, I was about to say, who?
I thought he was in Hallelujah.
Shake Mondays in Miami.
Hey, man.
No, I'm in Port. I'm on the West Coast.
But this guy, Adam Sosnick, sounds like somebody from New York, man, but he grew up in Miami. He's like, I grew up in Miami. It's like, really? Say, oh, yeah. And he's talking about some local shit, He said he knows his shit. But I'm like, you never lost the accent, huh?
Mm-hmm. A lot of New Yorkers migrate down to Florida.
Hey, boys. I'm finna get up out of here, but it was great conversation. We
I got to head out too.
Without arguing and fighting, so it was good. But salute to all y'all, man.
Later.
I'll holla at y'all.
I appreciate y'all.
It's too bad you're leaving, Luke, because I was going to ask you some shit about yesterday on them spaces.
What happened?
Well, I know Shake's got to run, so we were going to fire this down. I was going to fire up a tailgate, so maybe you can come on and enlighten us a little bit. It'll be a short show.
Oh man, I mean,
Mm.
yeah, I get, yeah. I
All
mean,
right, so
it is what it is.
I'll shut this one down, and y'all could start up another one.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, having a tailgate proper tonight, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a
So, okay,
tailgate
hey,
party
I'll
that
join
never
y'all
stops.
afterwards. I'll be there.
All right. Yep. All right. Well, then, yeah, guys. Everybody hit the like button, please. First of all,
I
If you
did
haven't-
enjoy.
And after this video, if you're watching the replay, please make sure you comment after the
Yep.
leave a comment, please.
yeah.
And if you
Again,
enjoyed the smoke lounge as well as I did, no matter what you were smoking on, thank you very much for a great show, Shake. Always a
Yeah.
good time in the
Great show.
lounge.
yeah, and let us know, guys. Like, we whittled this down through this exercise, impromptu exercise at that, to 3 teams. Which of those 3 teams? Put it in the comments at the end of the video. Do you think would be the front and center to bid for Tua if he was a free agent at the end of his 5th year? That the 3 teams we've come down to is the Titans, the Raiders, and potentially the Saints. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, and hey, puff give, motherfuckers. Share this shit out.
Oh
Hit
yeah.
the like button.
I like that. Puff,
Hey, man.
share.
And by the way, before we leave, I just want to make sure I thank everybody. Listen, you guys are the reason why we do this on a consistent basis. Jermaine, the biggest Tua hater out here. Billy Baston, B21, my man G, Dubs MC, Bon Joe. I
Who?
appreciate y'all. Hooked Up Joe, JR
Listen.
Black. What's good, fam? Jose M, and a bunch of guys, Reality and John Reichart. We appreciate y'all
TDR's
coming
up in the
in,
chat.
showing,
Yeah, I don't
showing
know,
us love
TDR. I
every
think
No,
63%.
man.
Come on.
63% is pretty dang close to the middle, bro. I don't know if we're an echo chamber. man.
Can we
Yeah.
put the
H.
legend?
What's
Can
good,
we
H?
put the legend
Yeah.
up there, Shake? I know you just see in the comments.
Kelvin
the
Smith?
legend.
What up, Calvin?
I mean, 63%
I don't
is
see
just about what
EM. I don't see EM here. Where's EM?
I'm not talking EM. I'm
Yeah,
talking
who's
about
that?
a real. I'm talking about a legend, Shake. I'm
Yeah,
talking
that sounds
about
on me too.
I'm talking about
EM?
Finsanity, Shake. I'm talking about Finsanity in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
a
I don't
legend.
see her. I don't see her
Yeah.
on the chat. But yeah, shout out. There she is. Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean,
shout out to,
TDR 63% is about what
Insanity.
the Democrats always win by in Broward County.
Talking about the queen in the community. Finsanity.
And in that
Shout out
note,
to the
Insanity is
homies.
down there.
Love
Hey.
Insanity.
She's down there. Insanity.
fins up, everybody. We out this month. And don't forget, man. Hold on. Saturday, baby. Saturday at noon, 12 o'clock, baby. I got that dub. I can't wait to
This
try
is
that dub fruit punch. It's still sealed
The
here.
WrestleMania pregame.
Hell yeah. So
Hey, Shake, thanks
fins
for
up,
letting me come
everybody.
up, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and thanks, Mr. Polk, for gracing us with your presence, man. Peace.
Appreciate it.
All right.